I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK Test Part 26. Legal and Political Changes Part 4. That is on the double page 18 and 19. And we were just that in Scotland there were three. Let's not make a too big sentence and say no what it was in England. Let's say in Scotland there were three houses, the Lords, the Commons and the clergy in the Parliament. So in Scotland, in the Parliament, three houses, Lords, the Commons and the clergy. And in England there were two, the Lords and the Commons. The House of Lords and the House of Commons. In the House of Lords there were noblemen and great landowners and bishops. And in the House of Commons there were knights and wealthy people from cities and towns who were elected by a portion of the public population. So let's try to understand that here. I'm going to show it to you and then I'm going to read it. So this thing here. English Parliament and Scottish Parliament. That is exactly what I just said, just written a little bit different. So English Parliament, we have the House of Lords and the House of Commons. In the House of Lords we have nobility. I refer to them a couple of times as noblemen, but nobility, great landowners and bishops. And we have a House of Commons where we have knights who were small. So the knights were smaller landowners and were wealthy, usually from towns and cities. And what is about the part of only a small part of the population was able to join in electing the members of the Commons? That's pretty important. I mean, if I say here so directly that the wealthy were part of the House of Commons, but now there's the limitation in between that they had to be voted for, that reads it as if every wealthy person of the town could be part of the House of Commons. And when we have a Scottish Parliament, three houses or estates, that's really just narrowed down, three houses or estates, the Lords, the Commons and the clergy. When we have a little text, around 3 sentences I guess. But let's start a bit with the shoulder impingement training. Did I say anything into it? So this is also shoulder impingement training, which is cited part 26 for Learning for Life in the UK Test, part 4, the values, no, not the values, the parliamentary situation, the legal and political changes in England, part 4. This is shoulder impingement training, and if you participate in these exercises, that is at your own risk. So we are making forward shoulder circuits, we're going back with shoulders, up, front and down, back, up, in, front and down. And we're going to do one more round, back, in, front and down. And now we're changing the direction, down in front, up, back and down. And the last round, front, up, back and down. To the next exercise, we are just having a comfortable stand. And now we are lifting the arms up, and you just concentrate on the scapulas, that the scapulas are opening up, and the humerus, so the bone in the upper arm, can just go up. If this exercise causes pain, then don't do it. Or any other exercises which we're doing. And in general, most of the times, if an exercise causes pain, then do it not. Most of the times. There are exceptions, but most of the times. Bring your arms up, and just concentrate with the scapulas that they're opening up. And the humerus can just open up. So just lift the arms and concentrate on the scapulas, opening up and making room for the arms. And that was for last time. And a little bit to shoulder impingement. The problems of shoulder impingement are two. The first one is that the scapula is too much in front. If you try now to lift up the arm, it just doesn't fit. The scapula is in the way. And the second problem is that it's not pulled enough back, so both problems are related. So we want to bring the scapula further back, and then we also want to train these muscles here. So for this exercise, we're trying to get a feeling for it, that the scapula can move around. It can be in front, it can be back, and it should go open up so that the humerus can open up. The humerus here, the bone can come up, and here's nothing impinged. And with the other exercises, we're training the muscles there. And we're going to do the second exercise of this kind. The arms to the outside. And we're just concentrating on the scapulas, that they're moving around the rib cage. That is not a typical shoulder impingement exercise, but it causes pain at the shoulder impingement point. But you can do this maybe if you have pretty severe shoulder impingement, because with this exercise it is not really this impingement happening. So just concentrate on the scapulars, how we're moving over the rib cage. And now pinch the scapulars back together, over the rib cage. Just concentrate on the scapulars. Are we following the humerus? And we have done the exercise. So now to the sentence. So England, House of Lords, House of Commons, and House of Lords, nobility, great landowners and bishops, and in the House of Commons, wealthy people from towns and cities and knights. And in Scotland, 3 estates, the lords, the common, and the clergy. Now I didn't use the time of exercise to raise my voice. This was also a time of development in the legal system. So legal and political changes is that part you called. And this time, now what time are we talking about? We don't know it. I mentioned it already, but we don't know what time it is. It is after 1215. In 1215, King John was forced by the noblemen to sign the Magna Carta, and through which he became, it was the idea established that also the king has to obey to some laws and cannot widely create new laws and change laws and collect taxes as he's willing to, and he has to involve noblemen in his decisions. So after the time, this was also a time of development in the legal system. So about laws, that is the number 2 of the big 5 in the United Kingdom, the rule of law. First one is democracy, the second one, the rule of law, the third one is individual liberties, the fourth one, tolerance of different faiths and beliefs, and the fifth one is participation in community life, and I still don't know what it means. But I think I don't know what it means in practice or what that sentence means. But maybe we will understand it over time. The principle that judges are independent of a government began to be established. We know something else about courts, that everyone has the right for, I don't want to really say it with my own words, let's look at it, a right to a free trial. And something under it was a right to join in the election of the government. Here we have a small part of the population who was able to join in electing the members of the Commons. Only a small part of the population was able to join in electing the members of the Commons. And here we have a right to join in the election of a government if citizenship comes. And a right to a free trial, a fair trial. The principle that judges, so people who said how the law is then now acted in reality, that is basically a question to participation in community life. What does it mean? In a classical sense, one could say that would mean going to church on Sunday, but in the United Kingdom, people have the right for religious freedom, and if they like, they can go into the mosque or in the synagogue or in a Hindu temple. So it can't be that participation in community life is a value, and it's a value and principle, not a duty. But people have a right for religious freedom in the United Kingdom, and they don't have to go on Sunday into church. So what does it now mean in actual life? But here, the principle that judges are independent of the government began to be established. So the judges, the people who say how that law is actually now in that situation meant, because a law is just something written down and someone has to decide, was that now the case or not? So if the law says something pretty similar, someone is not allowed to steal a cookie, and someone steals a cookie now, it's just a written text, and now someone has to decide, was the cookie stolen, and now everyone has the right for a free trial without discrimination, and to say why not, that cookie was not stolen or whatever, but someone has now to make this decision, and that is made by the judge. If at law now someone stole a cookie, and if a person has stolen the cookie, or hopefully not, if a person is guilty of stealing the cookie. Now the next exercise. We are doing a word lifter. We are having long and straight arms, and we are making fists with the hands, and we're turning these fists to the inside, and we're going to break with the shoulders down and together. And we're opening the chest into the sky. So the arms to the inside, shoulders, so the scapula's down, together and together. And we're changing the arms to the outside, scapula's down and together. Changing in, the arms to the inside, and the scapula still down and together. And again, only the arms are changing to the outside, the scapula's down and together. And with some exercise, have your arms out to the side, fists a bit in front, turning your arms to the inside, scapulars down and together. The arms in front, scapulars down together. And the arms to the outside. And the scapulars up and in front. And change again. The arms in front. And the scapulars down and together. And change the other side. The arms back. And the scapulars up and in front. Okay. So the principle that the judges in a court of a government are independent of a government. That was actually written here. But it's something similar important. That the judges were independent from the government. So technically that not only the king is subject to the law, but also that the government cannot decide what the judges have to say. In England, judges developed common law by a process of preceding, that is, following previous decisions and traditions. It is a complicated sentence, and I'm not sure if the thing in the brackets makes it easier. We're doing another exercise. We're doing the shrug. We're bringing the arms up. And now we're shrugging the shoulders up. And we're bringing them down again. And again the arms up. And we're shrugging the shoulders up. And releasing it all down. And last time, the arms up. Shrug the shoulders up. And release it all down. And the next exercise, but practical, arms together. Down with the arms to the outside, and we're just concentrating on the movements of the scapula. And to the inside, and just concentrate on the movements of the scapula. And the last time, to the outside, and to the inside. And that was the practical. Now to the sundial, you can also use a tennis ball, wearing it at the outside, and we're letting it fall, and we're catching it again, and we're trying to have a straight arm. Other side. Straight arm, let it fall, and catch it again. And that was the last exercise. Now a bit stretching. We bring one arm in front. We're stretching it over. The shoulder stays back. And the other arm in front. And now we're having 2 minutes left, which we will use to try to understand the sentence. I guess we will need the 5th part for legal and political changes in England from 1215 or so on. In England, judges developed common law by a process of preceding and tradition. If you take the brackets out, the sentence sounds strange. Well, I was pretty sure that I know what preceding means. But now I'm wondering if that explanation in the brackets after the word preceding, that is, following previous decisions, makes it anyway easier. Also, furthermore, the words following previous decision in that direction is not really a simple sentence. Following previous decisions. In England, judges developed common law by a process of preceding, that is, following previous decisions and tradition. So based on previous decisions which they had done as judges, and based on tradition, they developed common law. I guess is what that sentence wants to tell us. I'm not sure if it wouldn't have gone for what I just said, if that would be right, but if it would be right, then it is what is written here, just in way more simpler terms, which is intended here. Including everything to read and simple and easy to learn from. I thank you very much. Till the next time to part 5. Ciao. Ciao. Thank you, and until the next time.